I've been fasting for nearly 30 years. And when I say fasting, I mean the real deal. 3 or 6 weeks at a time, without food. And what I discovered completely changed my body, my mind, and even my life. In today's video, we are breaking down which fasting method truly works better. The popular intermittent fasting everyone talks about, or the Breuss Fasting Method, the long-term juice fast that's been transforming my health for decades. Now I'll share what exactly happens to my body after weeks without food, how fat melts, the skin clears, and your mind becomes sharper than ever. But also, what no one tells you about the struggles in between. Because if you ever wondered whether fasting can go beyond weight loss, into deep healing, focus, and emotional reset, this video will show you exactly how I did it, and how you can do it too. Now, before we dive in, let me quickly explain why you should listen to me on the topic. I've practiced long-term fasting, especially the Breuss Fasting Method, for nearly 3 decades. Over the years, I've seen dramatic transformations like fat loss, clear skin, renewed energy, mental focus, and healing myself and my family. My mother reversed breast cancer over 30 years ago with a 6-week Breuss fast, and it never came back. And my grandfather got rid of brain tumors and lung cancer in the same way. Me? Well, I managed to get pregnant after being diagnosed with endometriosis and have a successful IVF treatment after 4 years of disappointment. So today I'm not just sharing theory, I'm sharing experience, real results, real challenges, and real lessons learned about what the body and mind go through during long-term fasting. However, this video is about intermittent fasting as well, so without further ado, let's jump into it. In this video, I'll give you a full breakdown of both methods, so intermittent fasting and the Breuss Fasting Method. And I will show you the characteristics that define each fasting type, the benefits for your body, mind, and overall health, the difficulties that comes with both, their sustainability over time, and how they compare when it comes to deep detoxification and healing. And I'll also share this week's results of my mindful eating project that inspired this video. So if you've ever asked yourself, which fasting method works better for me? Stay with me until the end, because by then you will have your answer. So let's start with the basics. What does fasting actually mean? Well, if you Google it, this comes up. Fasting means abstaining from all or some kinds of food, usually for medical, spiritual, or experimental reasons. So in essence, fasting means giving your body time to rest from digestion and heal itself. It's important to understand that fasting isn't the same as starving. We fast willingly, abstaining from food for a specific period of time, often for health benefits. But starvation is not something that you choose. A lack of food leads to severe malnutrition and health consequences. So when we are fasting, no matter the time frame, it's about giving our cells space to repair, rejuvenate, and rebalance. Alright, we defined the meaning of fasting. Now let's focus on the time. Specifically, the time you spend without ingesting any solid food. There are many types of fasting that are done over a specific time frame, and I went over a lot of them in this video. However, you can also check them out in my pre-fast ebook, which you can download completely for free. The description is in the show notes. But I've never really dived into intermittent fasting properly before. So let's correct this now. Intermittent fasting is based on cycles, periods of eating and fasting within a day. So the idea is to limit when you eat, not what you eat. Some people fast for 16 hours and eat within an 8-hour window. Others, they fast for 18 hours and eat in a 6-hour window, or there's even a ratio of 20 and 4. So fasting for 20 hours and then eating in a 4-hour time frame. Now, an acquaintance of mine shocked me at my niece's birthday party some years ago when he sat at a table bristling with food, spoke to everybody calmly, but never took a bite. Now, later, he told me that he only eats once per day and that he will eat at dinner. And get this, he wasn't some grandfather of my niece. This was her uncle after her father's side, a young man of 23. So with intermittent fasting, you can have all time ranges and all ages. And this approach can be easily adapted to your lifestyle, where you still eat daily, just not all day long. And the benefits are well documented. Reduced calorie intake leads to gradual weight loss, improved insulin sensitivity, better blood sugar control, and even potential heart health improvements like lower blood pressure and cholesterol. Of course, the benefits multiply the longer your fasting period is. It is sustainable because it doesn't restrict any food groups, but it still requires discipline. However, and this might surprise you, I actually find intermittent fasting to be harder than my 3 or 6 week Breuss fast. Why? Well, because with intermittent fasting, my brain knows that food is coming in just a few hours. I spend half the day thinking about my next meal, which triggers hunger even before it's time to eat. Now, with Breuss Fasting Method and the time span of the fast, I know that I'm not going to get any food from 3 to 6 weeks, and that clarity brings peace. There is no bargaining with myself. So do you have the same problems with intermittent fasting as I do? I mean, I can fast without hunger for weeks, but when I know what I'll have for lunch, I'm just waiting for that eating window to open, barely hanging on, my stomach growling an hour before I can sit behind a dining table. And don't get me started how hard it is to stick to it on the weekends. Now let's move into the heart of this video, the Breuss Fasting Method, or what I call long-term fasting for healing. Now this method typically lasts anywhere from 21 to 42 days, and instead of eating food, you drink small amounts of vegetable juice made from beets, carrots, celery, and black radish, combined with herbal teas. Now the purpose isn't just weight loss, although my reasons for doing it have been exactly that for over the years. No, its true purpose is deep cellular cleansing and regeneration. And here's what I've personally observed over the years. There have been actually 3 parts that I have observed. The transformation I've noticed on my body. I typically lose anywhere between 8 and 12 kilograms during a 3-week fast. Fat reduction across the entire body, even my face and my fingers, and I have my father's fingers, so yeah, they are quite thick when I gain weight. Cellulite almost disappears on longer 6-week fasts. Skin becomes soft and clear, truly baby-like, and energy crashes vanish, blood sugar stabilizes, and digestion becomes effortless. And my gut health improves dramatically. And then we have the transformations that I've noticed on my mind. My mood elevates, I feel more resilient and calm, focus becomes laser sharp. I've outlined the entire book project during one of my fasts. My memory improves and I feel mentally lighter. And there's a sense of deep gratitude, a spiritual clarity that's hard to describe. And then the third, let's say, bundle of benefits that I've noticed is the transformation on my life in general. I gain hours of extra time each day. No grocery shopping, no cooking. I save money. Fasting costs almost nothing. And I spend more time outdoors, walking, meditating, or simply connecting with nature. So to sum up, the Breuss Fasting Method has helped me reset not just my body, but my mind and my lifestyle each year. So now that I've covered both fasts, let's compare them side by side. First, let's compare the characteristics. Intermittent fasting involves daily cycles. Eat, pause, repeat. Breuss fasting is long-term, 21 days to 42 days of full body reset with only juice and tea. Second, benefits. Both improve insulin sensitivity, metabolism, and longevity. But the Breuss fasting method goes deeper. It's not just metabolic, it's regenerative. Third, difficulty. Surprisingly, short-term fasting can feel harder mentally. Long-term fasting requires commitment. But once you pass day 4 and 5, the body adapts beautifully. 4. Sustainability. Intermittent fasting is great for maintenance, but for true detox and healing, I find the Breuss method irreplaceable. However, the Breuss fasting method is quite hard on your body, and it can only be done once per year if you will be fasting for a full 6 weeks. Number 5, long-term results. Now, Breuss fasting method brings profound benefits that can last for months, even years. I've seen reduced inflammation, better skin, stable energy, improved mental clarity, and long-term health long after the fast ended. However, as said in the previous segment, it can only be done once per year. But intermittent fasting you can do throughout the year. And as you can see, both fasts have their advantages and disadvantages. But here's the crazy thought. What if we combine the two? So after decades of experimenting, I found the perfect balance. Once a year, I do a full Breuss fast, a 3 or 6 week cleanse to reset my body completely. The rest of the year, I maintain my health through light intermittent fasting and mindful eating. You see, the benefits of both are unmatched. There's no right or wrong method. The key is listening to your body. When you pay attention, your body tells you what it needs. So now you see how I combine the two fasts. I've also been practicing intermittent fasting during my mindful eating project. However, not to the extent that I would like. I just can't seem to stick to a particular time schedule, especially on the weekends when we sit down for our family breakfast. And according to Andrew Huberman, this is a deal breaker because it takes the body up to 2 days to align back to the same eating window. So if I'm eating badly a breakfast at 9 o'clock on Sunday, my body will reset only on Wednesday to start eating or to start processing the food again correctly. So intermittent fasting is just a plus during the week. But the real transformation and game changer has been my mindful eating project. So let's see what the data shows for this week. Okay, welcome to my project Mindful Eating in week 5 in my Notion spreadsheet. This week was from the 6th of October until the 12th of October. And to just run through it very quickly, the weight I started on Monday with 77 kilograms, and on Sunday I ended up with 76.3 kilograms. And the average calorie intake, I was really interested and very surprised actually, because it is lower than my average calorie intake should be if I wanted to lose weight. That is around 1,600 calories per day. But this week I averaged in 1,508 calories. So I was pretty surprised by that. And what I wasn't surprised about was my average steps in this week, because I said that this week I'm going to focus on my calorie intake and not on my exercise. So this was not a surprise, my steps intake. And I decided to try to keep this figure as low as possible for the next several weeks. And then when that goal is reached, I will try to enhance this figure about my step count during the week. So this is my Notion spreadsheet for this week, and I will get back to you in week 6. Now, as you can see, I can get away with not so healthy eating during the week and still lose weight if I'm persistent in what and how much I eat most of the time. So 80-20 rule. Again, this isn't a dictatorship of the brain over my body. It's a partnership. So which fasting method works better? If you want gradual improvement, intermittent fasting can help you control your weight and improve metabolism. But if you're seeking a deep healing, detoxification, and mental transformation, the Breuss Fasting Method stands in a league of its own. Fasting has taught me discipline, gratitude, and resilience. And it's proof that our body has an incredible ability to heal when we simply give it the space to do so. If this video inspired you, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried long-term fasting before? How long was it? What was your biggest challenge? Did you enjoy it? Tell me everything. And if you're ready to explore the Breuss Fasting Method further, watch my next video. There I guide you through the magical world of 3 or 6 week fast, and I share exactly how to prepare, what to expect, and how to safely complete it. Thanks for your time, thanks for your patience, and I'll see you again in the next video.